Zo van, what the fuck? Ja, genoeg? Ik weet niet wie jij wil, Louis, maar voor mij mag de kick nog wel een stukje harder. Oké.
Since ancient times, the humankind has been dominated by a hidden master. Our consciousness is manipulated by a secret society. The system is using us like puppets to grow its power and annihilate our real purpose. We need to wake up, unite our souls, and break free from the strings. Doomsday is here. Pick up your weapons and fight. Fight.
Yeah, blessed with a mic, now it's time to vent. Gotta get this crap off my chest. Ridiculous. Your heart's a man, evil and dangerous, dangerous.
knew what I would do if I never met you. Don't wanna say, don't run away. It's not like I'd let you. So I hope and pray you don't leave me, 'cause I'm hoping that you need me. Wish I knew what I would do if I never met you. Don't wanna say, don't run away. It's not like I'd let you. So I hope and pray you don't leave me, 'cause I'm hoping that you need me. feeling so true, knowing that I belong to you. 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 Knowing that I belong to you.
You always want to be up to date? Like us on Facebook. rautemusik.happyhardcore.
One of the highlights of Bill O'Reilly's Super Bowl Sunday interview of Donald Trump was his attempt, a valiant effort by Bill O'Reilly, to get Trump to say one critical word about Vladimir Putin, the authoritarian president of Russia. And as you're going to see in this clip, it didn't work.
Do you respect Putin?
I do respect him.
Do you? Why?
Well, I respect a lot of people, but that doesn't mean I'm going to get along with him. He's a leader of his country. I say it's better to get along with Russia than not. And if Russia helps us in the fight against ISIS, which is a major fight, and Islamic terrorism all over the world,
right,
major fight, that's a good thing. Will I get along with him? I have no idea.
He's a killer, though. Putin's a killer.
A lot of killers. We got a lot of killers. Why, you think our country's so innocent? You think our country's so innocent?
I don't know of any government leaders that are killers in America.
Well, take a look at what we've done, too. We've made a lot of mistakes. I've been against the war in Iraq from the beginning.
Yeah, mistakes are different than...
A lot of mistakes, okay, but a lot of people were killed. So a lot of killers around, believe me.
That's interesting. Yeah. I mean, Trump himself just made a gigantic mistake that killed an 8-year-old kid in Yemen.
Maybe he's including himself
Is that what he's referring to?
Yeah, look, it's bizarre, and there's a lot to try to dissect there. It seems very forced and psychologically odd. It looks like a guy who's desperately trying not to insult someone who might have some secret information about him. That's what it seems like to me.
I feel uncomfortable with the master that's behind us right now, the master graphic.
Yeah, when we planned it, I didn't know that that's what it was going to look like.
Right, but it's okay.
There was a point, it had something to do with a lyric about being innocent. I think it's lost in translation.
Yeah.
But you saw the tape there, and look, this is not the only time that this has happened. Let's go back to the end of 2015. This is a constant narrative from Donald Trump when asked to criticize Vladimir Putin.
Like Vladimir Putin's comments about you?
Sure. When people call you brilliant, it's always good, especially when the person heads up Russia.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, also as a person that kills journalists, political opponents, and invades countries. And invades countries. Obviously, that it would be a concern, would it not?
He's running this country, and at least he's a leader, you know, unlike what we have in this country.
We're going to have a little bit more on the Trump-O'Reilly interview later. We're going to be touching on that in the next act of the show. But before that, I just want to point out, I just heard this right before the show. Turns out earlier today, President Trump was down in Florida addressing U.S. Central Command. Surprisingly, he did not order them to nuke the judicial branch. But he did make a very bold claim about the media's coverage of terror attacks.
Radical Islamic terrorists are determined to strike our homeland, as they did on 9/11, all over Europe. It's happening. It's gotten to a point where it's not even being reported. And in many cases, the very, very dishonest press doesn't want to report it. They have their reasons, and you understand that.
Okay. The president is accusing the media of refusing to cover major terrorist attacks. Why? Reasons. It makes perfect sense. You know the old news adage, if it bleeds, don't talk about it. But in one case, the president is right. In one case, there was a terror attack the president did not talk about. It's something called the Bowling Green Massacre. Yeah. I laugh when I'm scared, too. Look, this is true. I was not going to talk about this story because it happened last Thursday, and the crazy train had gone way down the track since then. And I figured this tired hobo just missed his chance to jump in the boxcar. But today, the president just gave me a reason to talk about it. So here's the deal. It was brought to light last week by a White House spokeswoman and person who has not slept since the Carter administration. Kellyanne Conway.
President.
February 6, 2017. From Comedy Central's World News headquarters in New York, this is The Daily Show with Trevor Noah.
You guys are amazing. Wow, wow. Thank you very much. I'm Trevor Noah. We have a great guest tonight. Democratic Congressman Keith Ellison is joining us, everybody. Keith Ellison on the show. But first, what an amazing game last night, people. Did you guys watch it? Yeah. It really was super. Like, I don't think I've ever seen football that insane. It is a comeback I will never forget. And on top of that, they won their 5th championship. Wow. Congrats. Congratulations, Cameroon, the world champions of Africa. Well done.
And the world sports back to the scenes of celebration as Cameroon became African football champions for a 5th time. The winner scored by Vincent Aboubakar.
What a goal! So that really happened last night, and y'all. But while we're talking about sports, we may as well congratulate the New England Patriots. Congratulations, an amazing victory. It really was insane. It was insane. No, I mean, hate them or love them, it was an amazing victory. It was like David and Goliath if Goliath got back up and tore off David's head. That's what it was like. And you know, it's nice to see things work out finally for Tom Brady. I mean, he suffered for so long. Almost 2 whole hours before turning around and winning. It's a real riches to riches story. I think the only downside for Tom Brady was that after the game, Roger Goodell gave him a 4-game suspension for overinflating Atlanta's hopes. I didn't expect that. I also genuinely loved Lady Gaga last night. She was phenomenal. Amazing performance. Yeah, apparently Trump's immigration ban doesn't apply to women from outer space, and I'm glad. No, her performance was amazing. I loved it. Like, from the time she itsy-bitsy gaga down her way to the stage. Look at that, huh? Yeah, it's like if Elton John reimagined Mission Impossible, and then she dropped the mic, and then she dropped herself. What is that? Like, what happened there? I don't even know what that is. It's like she jumped into one of those pipes from Super Mario and then came out in the underground world. I don't even know what that was. Oh, and in case you're wondering, Beyonce's now set a trend, right? Halftime show stars can no longer wear pants. This is a trend that she set. So, see you in 2018, Toby Keith. Let's turn now to the continuing saga that is the travel ban, AKA the Muslim ban, AKA it's not a ban, but it is a ban. Now, 10 days ago, when His Excellency the Donald of Trump commanded by executive order the banishment of all nationals of certain countries, he took for granted the fact that he's not a king.
On Friday, a federal judge in Seattle blocked the travel ban, reopening entry to people from the 7 affected countries.
I find that a temporary restraining order is in the public interest.
Damn. Trump just got shut down like he was one of his own casinos. Actually, when you think about it, Trump is a lot like the Knicks. You know, he's from New York, he's orange, and he always finds a way to lose on the court. Always. I don't know how. The only difference is I like the Knicks. That's the only difference. Did you say that ain't right? So after this federal judge, James Robarts, put a stop to the Muslim ban, Donald Trump took his appeal to the highest court he knows, Twitter.
The president had already argued his own case in a string of 7 tweets Saturday, even lashing out at the judge. The opinion of this so-called judge is ridiculous and will be overturned.
What do you mean, so-called judge? He's a judge. Whenever someone disagrees with Trump, it's automatically conspiracy time. Get me this court guy's birth certificate. I'll bet it doesn't say judge anywhere. Was he born in Kenya? He probably killed JFK after inventing autism. No. The man was appointed and confirmed and is in every way fully and legally a judge. Trump heard the decision and he was like, oh yeah? Who are you to judge? I'm literally a judge. And look, I know Trump is not a checks and balances guy, but the president takes an oath to uphold the Constitution. And judges are specifically the people whose job it is to tell him how to do that. Judges are basically democracy referees. Now, you can complain about a call if you don't like it, but you can't claim that the ref is not a ref, unless that ref works at Foot Locker. That's different, in which case you shouldn't have brought your divorce suit in front of him to begin with, I'm just saying. But there's a problem with Trump dumping all over Judge Robarts. I mean, beyond the general problem that presidents aren't supposed to do that, the problem with this particular judge is that there are no problems with this particular judge.
Judge Robart is a superb judge and one of the best that we have, and I think he's one of the better judges in the country. He was an active Republican here in Washington State. He is a good, solid judge, a mainstream jurist, and we're lucky to have him.
Judge James Robart, a George W. Bush appointee, was confirmed in the Senate by a vote of 99-0.
Yes. The Senate confirmed him unanimously, and the Senate never agrees on anything. Even when they all watched La La Land, even then, they didn't agree. Ted Cruz and Chuck Schumer, they both loved it, but Bernie was like, it's sentimental garbage. Jazz doesn't belong to white people. So, Trump may not have known it, but he was criticizing a Republican judge who is lauded on both sides of the aisle. In fact, Bush appointed him. So you can't even say this is a partisan decision. But if there's one thing you should know about the Trump, it's that he has the impressive ability to take a bad situation and make it worser. Alternative words. Disrespecting and delegitimizing a judge was just the start, because then Trump took it from being dickish to dictatorish.
Later tweeting, just cannot believe a judge would put our country in such peril. If something happens, blame him and court system. People pouring in, bad.
If something happens, blame him? Wow. You realize that judge is just he's doing his job, right? And his job is to uphold the law. But now Trump's threatening the judge by blaming any future terror attack on him. And that's not an accident. It's a strategy. And it's a strategy straight out of the Authoritarian's Handbook, which, by the way, is also his favorite bedtime stories. Read me the one about the mustache man. Because you realize, when Trump says, if we get attacked, blame this judge, he's laying the groundwork to subvert an entire branch of government, the judiciary. Because if, God forbid, something does happen, you know Trump is going to come out saying, you see, I wanted to protect you, but the judges stopped me. So America, you got to choose. What do you want? Safety or judges? And that's exactly what dictators do. They use the fear of the people to convince people to surrender their rights. And if you don't think the Trump administration would exploit a terror attack in that way, well, don't take my word for it. Just ask the survivors of the Bowling Green massacre. We'll be right back. The Daily Show. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. Let's move now to Washington, D.C., something Melania Trump will never do. You know, since Trump's inauguration, here at The Daily Show, we've been playing this game. It's called Who's the Real President? We sit around in the office and we try and figure out who's really running the country. Because you know it's not Trump, right? We know it's not Trump. And like, I figured, I was like, let me show you the current standings of what we have here, right? So as you can see, for week 3, we have a whole bunch of people. Donald Trump's still stuck in number 5 spots. But there's been a lot of movements in the top 3, and that's what we're going to share with you today. At number 3, we have Javanka, which is basically our celebrity couple name for Jared Kushner and Ivanka, right? It's also the name of an IKEA chair. A lot of people don't know that. In the number 2 spot, we have, Fox News. Yes, or as Trump calls it, his daily briefings. But the number 1 spot in this week's edition of Who's the Real President goes to... Steve Bannon! Yay! Steve Bannon! Yay! Yes. Donald Trump's chief strategist, who is also the radical former editor of Breitbart, and the subject of the best-selling autobiography, If Eczema Were Human, the Steve Bannon story. And guys, can I be honest with you? This tally wasn't even close, because in the past week, we've learned so much about the power and influence that Bannon has in the White House.
Where is he getting his ideas? Where did the term Muslim ban come from?
How did the president decide the 7 countries?
Bannon played a key role in crafting President Trump's extreme vetting order, that temporary ban on immigrants from 7 predominantly Muslim countries.
Wow. Oh, can we just take a second? What's going on in this photo? It looks like Trump is a little girl learning to dance by standing on her father's feet. Like, what is... I bet Melania looks at that picture and goes, I remember when